4 clear signs you both like each other. Stop overthinking it. You ever find yourself lying awake at night, running every word, every emoji, every look through a mental MRI machine, trying to figure out if they like you? Let me save you some time. We've turned dating into overanalysis disguised as romance. But connection, real connection, it's not hidden in code. It's right there in front of you, if you know what to look for. So today, I want to give you 4 clear signs that you both like each other, and if you see these, you can stop overthinking it. When 2 people genuinely like each other, communication doesn't feel like a chore. It becomes something effortless, even automatic. You don't need a big reason to reach out. You're not sitting there debating for hours whether it's too soon to text or if you'll look too eager. When there's a real connection, both people find small, seemingly insignificant reasons to talk, just to keep the thread alive. You might send a funny meme, a random observation about your day, or a quick check-in like, "Hey, I just passed that taco place you mentioned." These aren't messages about logistics. They're about presence, about saying, "I'm thinking about you," without actually saying those words. If the other person is doing the same, it's one of the clearest signs that there's mutual interest. They're not just responding politely or out of obligation. They're showing initiative. They're also creating reasons to reach out to you, just as you are to them. It might be a question they could easily Google, but they'd rather ask you. Or they might send you a photo that sparks an inside joke you shared 2 days ago. It's subtle but powerful. People don't do this with everyone. It takes emotional energy and attention, and we don't spend that kind of energy on someone unless we care. What's important to understand here is that this kind of communication isn't about quantity. It's about quality and intention. Someone might not be a constant texter, but when they do reach out, the message has warmth, a personal touch, or a memory that brings a smile. On the other hand, if you're always the one initiating and they're giving dry replies with no attempt to continue the conversation, then that's a different story. Mutual interest shows up in mutual effort, not in the same way or with the same frequency, but the balance is there. You reach out, they reach out. You send something thoughtful, they reciprocate this back. And 4th is the modern version of courtship. In a world where attention is currency, someone who takes a piece of their day to think of you, to share a part of their world with you, that means something. It's the digital equivalent of saving you a seat, of saying, "You matter to me in this moment." Now, a lot of people start to question themselves here. They wonder if they're imagining it. They second guess whether the person is just being nice. But here's a helpful way to cut through the noise. If it's consistent, if it's warm, if it happens without any prompting from you, and especially if they circle back after silence or a missed message, it's not an accident. It's interest. You don't need to decode every word like it's encrypted. Just look at the pattern. Are they showing up the way you are? Are they making space for conversation, not just reacting to it? That's your answer when you're around someone who truly likes you. And when that feeling is mutual, there's an almost invisible rhythm that starts to build between you. It's not forced, it's not strategic, and it's definitely not about trying too hard. It just happens. You start to notice that your energy levels begin to match. If you're excited, they get excited. If you're calm, they settle into that same energy. It's not that you're pretending to be like each other. It's that your moods naturally sync up when you're in each other's company, or even just texting or on a call. That emotional mirroring is something humans do when they feel connected. It's deeply instinctive. You'll also start to reflect each other's communication styles without even thinking about it. Maybe you use emojis a certain way, or have a quirky way of expressing things. Suddenly they're picking up on it, using similar phrases or joking in the same tone. That's not random. That's someone subconsciously tuning into your wavelength. It means they're paying attention. It means they care about how you express yourself, and they're allowing your style to influence theirs. This isn't about losing identity. It's about creating a shared space where both people feel seen and comfortable. This kind of syncing can happen in small gestures too. You lean in when talking, and they lean in too. You smile, they smile back, not out of politeness, but because the emotional energy is bouncing between you. And when they laugh at your jokes, even the bad ones, you start to feel like you're in this a bubble where your energy lifts each other. It's playful, it's effortless, and it often leaves both people walking away thinking, that just felt good. That feeling isn't fake. It's your body and mind responding to chemistry, real, mutual chemistry. It also shows up when you both naturally match effort. If one of you suggests a hangout, the other is quick to respond with enthusiasm. If one of you takes a step forward emotionally, the other doesn't back away. They step forward too. You don't feel like you're chasing or dragging the other person along. There's a sense of balance in the connection. You're not overextending yourself to get their attention. You're both creating space, matching tone, and moving toward each other at a similar pace. What's important is that none of this is calculated. You don't have to sit there analyzing every move because it just feels aligned. And when something feels aligned, it usually is. That mirrored energy, those little unspoken moments of synchronicity, are the kind of things you can't fake. You feel it in the way they listen, in the way they look at you when you speak, and in how present they are when you're around. When two people are emotionally in tune, their behavior reflects it without needing words. And if you're experiencing that, it's not a coincidence. It's a sign you're on the same page, whether you've said it out loud yet or not. One of the clearest signs that two people like each other is how naturally the idea of future plans starts to show up in the conversation. It doesn't feel like pressure. It's not some big, dramatic talk about where things are going. It's subtle, light, and often playful. But it means something. When you like someone, you instinctively want to extend the interaction beyond the present moment. You're not just thinking about how good this feels now. You're already wondering when you can see them again, what you'll do together next, or how you can keep the connection going. Maybe it starts with something simple. You have to try that coffee place I told you about we should go next week. Or that movie you love is playing again this month. We should go see it together. These little invitations are more than just suggestions. They're soft ways of saying, I want more time with you. And when the other person agrees, or even better, offers their own future plans in return, that's a strong sign you're both invested. It's not about making grand declarations. It's about planting seeds that both of you are clearly watering. The key here is that these plans don't feel like obligations. They feel exciting. You don't find yourself hesitating or overanalyzing when they say, let's do something next weekend. You want to say yes, you look forward to it, and when you suggest something, they say yes too with energy, not just politeness. There's a rhythm to how the plans unfold. You suggest one thing, they suggest another. It becomes a little dance of shared interest, shared effort, and shared anticipation. This kind of future thinking also shows up in more subtle ways. Maybe they reference something happening a few weeks from now, and you're already included in the picture. Or you're joking about what you'd do together if you were on a road trip, or what kind of house you'd live in if you both gave up your jobs and moved to the countryside. Even if it's said in jest, these are moments that reflect a growing emotional comfort. You're both imagining us, and not just me and you. And it doesn't always have to be about dates or physical time together. Maybe you're sharing a show you like and they say, don't watch the next episode without me. That's another kind of future plan. It's about creating continuity, finding things you both enjoy and using them as bridges to more shared experiences. When two people are not on the same page, future plans either don't happen at all, or they're vague and never followed up on. One person suggests something, and the other dodges or keeps things in the short term. But when there's mutual interest, you'll both start treating the future like it's already a little bit yours to explore together. That forward momentum is real, and it's one of the most honest indicators of how someone feels. One of the most underrated signs of real connection is how you feel in the quiet moments when there's nothing to say, no joke being made, no clever line being exchanged, just silence. A lot of people think that chemistry is all about excitement, butterflies, rapid fire banter, and witty conversation. And sure, those things are fun, but they don't necessarily mean depth. The deeper sign, the one people often overlook, is how comfortable you are with someone when no one's performing. When you're just sitting there in silence and it doesn't feel awkward, it feels easy. Think about it, with most people, silence can feel heavy or tense. You start scrambling for something to say or wonder if the other person is bored. But when there's mutual interest and emotional safety, that pressure disappears. You're not trying to fill every moment, you're just being. Whether you're walking side by side, sitting next to each other in a car, or lying down after a long day, there's a quiet understanding that you don't need to entertain each other to stay connected. That's not boring, that's rare, and it means something. This level of comfort comes from trust. It shows that you're not being evaluated every second and that your presence alone is enough. You're not worried about impressing them constantly. You're not trying to keep their attention. You just have it. And they have yours. It's the kind of connection where you can both be in your own worlds. Maybe one of you is scrolling through your phone, the other reading a book, and yet there's still a sense of togetherness. You don't feel disconnected. You feel more like a quiet team. You also see this comfort in conversations that have natural pauses. You don't feel the need to jump in and fill gaps with small talk. You both know the flow will pick up again, and neither of you takes silence as a sign that something's wrong. In fact, the silence becomes a kind of communication in itself. It says, I'm at ease with you, I don't need to perform, I can breathe here, and this comfort doesn't just happen with anyone. It's not something you can fake or force. It's built through mutual presence, consistent respect, and feeling emotionally safe with someone. When two people like each other, and feel secure in that interest, they naturally stop needing to prove themselves in every moment. Instead, they settle into a rhythm that says, I know you're here, and I'm here too. That's the kind of emotional space that creates intimacy, not just physical closeness, but psychological closeness too. So if you find yourself enjoying those quiet moments with someone, not filling them out of obligation, but actually savoring the stillness, it's a powerful signal. It means the connection isn't just about stimulation or excitement. It's about feeling seen, accepted, and relaxed. That kind of peace shared between two people is often where real love begins to grow. When you're in something that feels right, where mutual interest is real, and not just wishful thinking, there's a noticeable lack of pressure. Things feel natural. You're not walking on eggshells, carefully curating every message or calculating the perfect response time. You're not second, guessing every word or wondering if you came on too strong. That constant inner dialogue that happens when you're unsure, it starts to quiet down. Why? Because the energy between you two feels easy, balanced, and consistent. You don't feel like you have to chase, impress, or compete for their attention. You can just be yourself, and that's enough. When someone likes you back, they don't make you work overtime to feel seen. You don't find yourself obsessing over the fact that they took 6 hours to reply while you responded in 6 minutes. You're not sitting there dissecting punctuation in their texts or overanalyzing whether a one-word response means disinterest. When it's mutual, the communication has a flow to it. They respond in a way that matches your tone. If you're excited, they're excited too. If you ask a question, they answer and then ask one back. It's reciprocal. And even if they're busy or slow to reply sometimes, they make up for it, they let you know why. They pick up the thread again, and they show that they care. One of the clearest signs of mutual interest is that the relationship or connection doesn't feel like a game. You're not constantly worried about who's winning or losing in terms of who's more into who. That scoreboard mentality fades when the emotional playing field is even. You're both showing up, both putting in effort, and both leaning into the connection rather than trying to control it. And the more that happens, the more relaxed you feel. You're not bracing for rejection or waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're actually enjoying getting to know someone because it feels grounded and emotionally safe. This sense of ease also gives you the freedom to be honest. You can say what you feel without fearing it'll scare them off. You can share something vulnerable without worrying that you've overstepped. And guess what? They receive it with openness. They don't shut down. They don't disappear. They meet you where you are. That's what happens when attraction isn't one-sided. It becomes a space where both people feel free to be real without pretending or performing. So many people confuse intensity for compatibility. Just because someone gives you butterflies doesn't mean it's healthy. Real connection doesn't feel like constant anxiety. It feels like peace, not boring, not dull, peaceful. When there's no pressure to prove your worth, when you feel accepted and mirrored in that space, it's a strong sign the feelings are mutual. And in that space, love doesn't have to be chased. It grows naturally. You don't have to force anything. You just keep showing up, and so do they. Thank you.